Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, having a lunar eclipse. I'm recording this on March 13th, about 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. In about 4 hours, we're going to have a lunar eclipse. The Blood Worm Moon lunar eclipse. In this eclipse, the moon will turn a red color as it's going through its eclipse. As described on a TikTok I was watching, the moon will be in the Earth's shadow, and the Earth will be absorbing the blue light out of the white light, and what's left are the red waves, which is why the moon will appear red in the sky. I'm a bit inland from the coast, so I'm hopeful that we won't have cloud cover here, so we'll actually be able to see it. And we'll see how that turns out tonight. Now, the purpose of this reading is to look how this energy will impact Donald Trump. He was born under an eclipse, a solar eclipse, I believe it was. And astrologers and such, like Andre, have commented that Trump is more impacted by eclipses than most people, because he was born under one, so therefore spiritually or astrologically he's more impacted by these things. So I want to read on the energy around this Blood Worm lunar eclipse, and then its impact on Trump, what we can kind of expect from Trump as that goes. Okay, so come on down. Let's go see the energy around this Blood Worm lunar eclipse. What does Spirit have to share for us? An upside down deck is what we have. This eclipse is going to signal changes. Again, we are in tumultuous times. The Two of Cups is about, the Two of Coins, excuse me, it's about trying to keep all your problems moving forward with things. Keeping all your problems juggling. It's very difficult to do, and any mistake will lead you to dropping the ball. You can do it for a while, but you can't maintain it. So spiritually, you can overextend yourself, but it only lasts for a short time. You can't. Okay, so it's about planning also. If you plan things out, then you're not reactive, you're being proactive. Underneath it all is the Fool card. It's a new journey, a new start, the beginning of something new. There's going to be changes. This eclipse is going to bring changes, and actions need to be taken. People who have been planning their future should do well. Those who are being reactive to things are going to be on tough times. Tough times are going to be like walking off a cliff. Planning is going to be on a new path. And I can look right at our economy right now and sort of say that same thing with the tariffs and everything like that. Things are tumultuous. If you've been planning for it, saving your acorns and such for a rainy day, that rainy day is here. In the past, we've got Judgment. It's interesting how many people react and respond to eclipses. It wakens them up in a spiritual sense. The other thing with full moons is the loonies come out, right? But the current situation, I think, is okay. So this Blood Worm eclipse is it's going to heighten anxiety for this financial situation that we're in. I would expect more financial tumultuous times financially are going to be triggered by this eclipse. A lot of people's anxieties are going to be very high. Again, and I think a lot of I thinks in here. People who are living paycheck to paycheck, it's going to hit them hard. This is not fair. I understand that. But they're the ones who are most vulnerable because they really don't have the resources to plan. Simplifying your life might be the simplest thing or the best thing you can do on short notice. Cut out expenses as much as you can. There's going to be a lot of change, a lot of crashing of, I want to say institutions. That sounds too big. But this is going, the stock market is crashing down. Consumer confidence in the economy is down. Recession is looming. Right now, the recession is basically here. It just hasn't been defined yet. We have to wait a few months before it's defined as a recession. But I think Trump's tariffs have sped up this process and led to where we are now. Yeah, things are going to be dire. Sorry, don't mean to. This might be your Ides of March reading here, too. Lesson to be learned. We have some tough times coming ahead here. Anxiety, sudden change, tough times, things crashing. Coins financially. But you can't do some looking towards the future. And this is all brought on by Trump and the guy playing the trumpet. He is the one that's precipitating this. So in some ways, his tariff wars are perfectly timed with this lunar eclipse. Yeah, money's going to get tight. There's a lot of cutting back. There's a lot of holding on to wealth. And the Fool card. Again, so planning for tough times is where we are at. This eclipse probably is going to be the trigger for tough times. It may not be immediate, but it's imminent. You got to protect yourself as best you can, but understand that if you hoard for yourself and don't share with your neighbor, then folks in the neighborhood might come to your house to take what you have because you're hoarding it instead of sharing it. Hungry people do desperate things. That kind of mindset. So you need to make sure you're well off, but you also need to be looking out for people. People need allies, and you might need to be an ally. And you might need allies yourself. These are going to be some hard times. These are going to be some hard lessons coming up with this lunar eclipse. I know. Just what you wanted to hear, right? Because it's been such a frickin' party the last 8 to 10 years. We're going to ask on Trump, but now I'm going to ask, how will this eclipse, four-carder, specifically on the economy and the monetary situation in the United States and the world? Well, the monetary situation in the world. It's not just the U.S., it's the world. How will this eclipse impact that monetary situation? That eventually there's going to be a rethinking of money, wealth, the worshipping of wealth, probably. So we start off with the Seven of Pentacles, with the Ace of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Knight of Swords, and the Empress. All right. What it ultimately triggers is the reevaluation of wealth and what it means to be wealthy. The responsibility of the wealthy. The philanthropy that should be when you have a bush filled with you have the money tree, you should be working with your neighbor to share that money. And one of the things I mentioned when Gary and I did the reading with Dr. Lena was that it's a privilege to be a philanthropist, to be in such good financial shape that you can have a crusade and help people out and take care of people or take care of your special projects, whatever those might be. And I think that this lunar eclipse, there's going to be financial pain, but that financial pain we're going through that to help reshape the way we look at money and the way we look at people who have an abundance. instead of worshiping the people that have hoarded it, we're going to be pressing for them to be benevolent and share with their bounty, as opposed to hoarding it for themselves. Now, Donald Trump, who's the antithesis of generous, who is the man who is still trying to be the wealthiest man alive. He's got only a couple years left in his life, given the way he doesn't take care of himself. Yet he's grifting and taking money with both hands, acting like he can take it with him. How will this eclipse impact Donald Trump? Note how this eclipse is Donald Trump is the antithesis of this eclipse. So how is this going to impact him? This could be very interesting. Keep wanting to use the word devastating, but we'll see. Queen of Wands. How will this impact Donald Trump? Females, women taking action. This is forward-looking. People walking away. Bringing things to an end. Hang on. I'm going to take a quick look at the definition of the Queen of Wands. I want to see if there's other meanings that I don't normally associate with it that would go with this. Hang on. Okay, bringing you back here. The Queen of Wands represents vibrant, fiery, confident individual embodying courage, enthusiasm, and a natural ability to inspire and lead, often associated with the element of fire and the sign of Leo. In the reverse position, it can point to controlling tendencies, a lack of enthusiasm, or a need to rein in one's fiery energy. Okay. How will this impact Donald Trump? He needs to rein in. He's probably going to take that fiery energy and go on to overload. Gemini's not a fire sign, but I don't know if I'm going to give him the low energy. He is controlling, don't get me wrong, but I think it's actually going to fire him up even more. He's going to be even more ready to fight and walk away from friends and relationships, bringing things to an end. It's going to be a lonely Thanksgiving this year for the international community who might celebrate at the table of the United States, because I think Donald Trump's going to be just beyond him. He's going to be the Trumpiest Trump that ever trumped, as my brother would say. He got in with his election. Hello, Mr. Putin. So nice of you to join the reading. Current situation of the lovers. He's showing people who he's in bed with, who he's allied with, which it's North Korea, in Russia, in China, in Saudi Arabia. It's not the traditional partners of the United States. You don't treat your friend... Donald Trump treats his friends exactly like he's doing. I think there was a number of stories about him waiting for friends. He liked to sleep with friends' wives. He'd wait till the guy was out of town, and then he'd go over and try and seduce the guy's wife. That type of thing. And it's sort of it's better to be Donald Trump's enemy than to be his friend, because if you're his friend, he will just abuse you all the time, and you're just supposed to take it. Whereas your enemy, at least, he'll abuse you once or something like that until he moves on to a new enemy. But a friend gets abused all the time. Overarching energy, the Six of Cups. Looking for that friendships. And again, the Red Hat's abusing the friendships, finding new friends to be friends with. Yeah, he's looking for new allies. I think he's running out of allies. He's lesson to be learned is the strength. Donald Trump is not a strong person. He's very weak. His idea of strength is to double down on whatever it is that he's threatening. This is going to be a bad month for us as far as Trump's behavior goes, because I think he's just going to be the Trumpiest Trump who ever trumped, thinking that he's showing strength. Something new, something big is coming out of this. Look at all the major arcana I've gotten out of this one. Got three major arcana in the current situation, the lesson to be learned, and the outcome is the Magician. It's going to be more smoke and mirrors with him. He might even come up with a new idea of how he's going to project strength and show what a leader and an alpha he is. I get the feeling that he's going to really alienate some of the U.S.'s traditional allies. That's kind of what I get this eclipse is going to do. Now, the eclipse starts tonight, but I think even if you listen, like, again, Andre or Denise Siegel, I think they would mention that the eclipse energy, it's not like it's one and done. It's something that builds and crests and drops back down again. So it's kind of like a rolling wave going towards shore. It's not necessarily a big one crashing down, but it's a rolling one. And there's just going to be this big energetic push in that direction. So I would expect that Donald Trump over the next weeks to months is going to be pushing away traditional. He's going to be the Trumpiest Trump who ever trumped, and pushing away allies or bullying allies as much as he can. What's the lesson for the rest of us to learn from this moon with regards to what Trump does to the United States and to the world in general? Four Carter. The Star card. This too shall pass. This is the calm after the storm. I guess the measure of your character is levied when you've been through stressful times. And when you're under stress, people see your true nature, both the good parts of your personality and the ugly parts that you hide. But are you going to be on the right side of history when it's all said and done? Values, morals, ethics. I think we're going to be a bit poorer for all of it. Strong emotions, new friendships, new relationships. And there's going to be people left out. And underneath it all, the Trumpiest Trump who ever trumped is going to cause the storm, but eventually that storm calms down, and then it's up to us with our fiery energy and our passions surviving this storm. What are we going to do with the valuable lessons we've learned? Are we going to be wallowing in self-pity, or are we going to be helping people who are in need? However that need looks. It may not necessarily be financial, but yeah. Probably, and I guess with that, the other thing with the Star card and that Five of Coins is that the people who most worshipped Trump are the ones who are going to suffer the most. As I was mentioning, better to be Trump's enemy than his friend. All those Trump supporters, all those MAGA supporters, everything he does doesn't help poor people in the South. It does nothing to help them. It helps wealthy people everywhere, but not poor people. And those people are the ones that are going to suffer the hardest on this, because they have high expectations. They hold him up like a deity, and they get so confused when he doesn't save them. His cruelty towards them is magnitudes worse than his cruelty towards us. And I think that's because they have hope, they have expectations, and the one thing he's never going to deliver for them is a victory on their hopes and expectations, because they just don't understand who this guy is and how he acts. We get it, but they don't. And they're the ones who are going to really be out in the cold when it comes time, when they finally realize, when everything's said and done, who are the ones that are going to suffer the most under this guy's plans for the U.S. and the world. Okay. Strap in. Buckle up. Do what you can. Simplify your life. Simplify your expenses. Be there for your friends. Be there for your family and neighbors. Certainly the ones that you get along with, and you might have to be there for the ones that you don't always see eye to eye with, because that's how you build those relationships back. You don't have to convert them. They have to do that on their own. But one step at a time. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. Appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you find it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.